over 200 million listeners to today's game. This game is about ready to start, and it'll give me a great deal of pleasure to turn this over to a fellow that's really a pro behind this mic. He's been doing the games for the St. Louis Cardinals since 1946, and I always enjoy listening to him. I get him quite a bit at my home in Louisville, Kentucky. None other than Harry Carey. Come on in, Harry.
Thank you very much, Pee Wee. All set to play baseball here. You know, it's a strange thing. The outstanding ball player on the 46 Red Sox was Ted Williams, the left fielder. This year in 67 is their left fielder, Carl Yastrzemski. In 46, the outstanding Cardinal was their first baseman, Stan Musial. And so it is this year, Orlando Cepeda at first base. Let's pause here 10 seconds now for station identification.
Saratoga, the authentic Vichy behind the yellow label. The only mixer we know of that people built a city just to be near.
Bill Edwardson here twice a day, 7 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon.
Here on WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.
The Red Sox, need I tell you, have just taken the field. Dalton Jones at third base. Rico Petrocelli at shortstop. Jerry Adair at second base. George Scott at first base. Rolling the practice ball around. Jose Santiago kicking at the rubber as he gets ready to make his first practice pitch to Russ Gibson behind the plate. In left field is Carl Yastrzemski. In center field is Reggie Smith. And in right field is Ken Harrelson. You know, a year ago they said that Jerry Adair talked his way out of a share of the World Series. Remember then, he was with the Baltimore Orioles. He said to them, in effect, either play me or trade me. They traded him. Baltimore went on and won the American League pennant, won the World Series. Adair was not there to get any share of it. But this year he winds up with the team that is in the World Series, playing second base for the Boston Red Sox. Lou Brock ready to lead off. A first ball hitter. He stole 52 bases during the season. You know, every one of the 9 St. Louis starters has had World Series experience. None of the 9 Red Sox starters today have ever figured in a World Series. So let's see if experience really makes any difference in a short series. It'll be Brock, Flood, and Maris coming up in the first inning for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals won their pennant handily by 10.5 games over the second-place Giants. The Red Sox are one of the most memorable, most dramatic finishes in any league's history, and certainly the American League's. Won on the final day by 1 game over the Detroit Tigers. The 1967 World Series is about to start. Lou Brock has stepped into the batter's box. The commissioner of baseball, William Eckert, has already thrown out the first ball. They're playing Brock. I notice Yastrzemski far over towards center field. They give him the left field corner. I imagine with that short left field fence, they'll play practically all hitters that way. Jose Santiago from Puerto Rico into the windup. The World Series is underway. The first pitch swung, and he missed the curveball, strike 1. So Lou Brock, a first ball hitter, did go after the first pitch. A breaking ball, and he swung and he missed. And so it's 1 strike, no ball. Santiago's pitch. It's a fastball high and outside. John Stevens of the American League behind the plate. The count evens up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bright sunshine at Fenway Park. The sky a blanket of azure blue. Fleeced here and there with little white clouds. The windup, the pitch to Brock. A looper into left field. It's a base hit. The first hit of the series. Lou Brock loops one into short left field. And Lou made up his mind to go the opposite way and succeeded against Jose Santiago. So Lou Brock is on. And here's Curt Flood. Pee Wee, this fella loves to hit the ball to the opposite field. And he, like you did, had to work hard at mastering that knack.
Well, I'm anxious to see Lou Brock at first base. They say he likes to go and he'll run right away. So better watch him.
Let's see if he will. The stretch. There he goes. Very first pitch. There's the throw. He is. Saved. He stole it. And boy, I'll say this Gibson got the ball away in a hurry, and his throw was there, but Lou Brock just simply outran it. And Lou Brock has started the ball game in typical Cardinal fashion. He singles to left field, and on the first pitch, he steals second. This will give you a little bit of an idea about the abandon with which the Cardinals play baseball. There might be pressure in the World Series, but you wouldn't know it. This is the way Brock played all day long. At the very first pitch, usually he'd go, and he did again. Here's Flood now, a man on second base and nobody out. Flood, who likes to hit the ball to the opposite field. The stretch by Santiago. The count is ball one, the pitch. He did try to hit the right field, and he sliced the foul back to the screen, and it evens it up in a ball and a strike. The sun is so bright that it's difficult to determine the ball and strike count on the board because the lights actually don't show as a result of the bright sunshine. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fenway Park, a mass of humanity. Whatever you can possibly jam into a ballpark this size, they've got here. 1 ball, 1 strike, Curt Flood the hitter. Brock, who very rarely tries to steal third, by the way. The stretch, the pitch to Flood by Santiago. Here it is. He was going to bunt it to hit the bat. It did. He meant to hold up. The pitch was high, a bad ball, and he tried to pull back, but it hit the bat for a strike 2 on a foul tip that he did not mean to do. 2 strikes and a ball. Flood in the hole. Roger Maris will be next. With Brock at second base, barring a line drive double play, it means that Flood, Maris, and Cepeda will have a shot at driving in the run. Curt Flood straddles the plate. He hit .335, had a banner year. 5 homers and 50 RBI. Here's the stretch. The pitch to the right-handed batter. And there's a dare going behind the bag, the pitch. Curveball. Strike 3 call. There is a big out. Flood unable to advance. Brock was fooled on a curveball. And there's 1 away. Here's Roger Maris, no stranger to Fenway Park. Veteran of some years in the American League. 9 homers during the regular season, 55 runs batted in. He hit .261. His average is not indicative of his worth. He was one of the key members of the Cardinals. Many a game-winning hit, especially early in the season when the pennant was in contention. So, Brock at second base with 1 out, the stretch by Santiago. From the belt, the pitch. Maris takes a fastball high. 1 ball, no strikes. Flood, who is usually very, very successful at advancing a man, failed against Santiago here in the first inning on a good, sharp-breaking curveball that fooled him. 1 ball, no strikes. Roger Maris waits. They play him straight away and deep. He always loved to hit in this ballpark as a Yankee. Now the pitch. And here it is. Curveball. Caught the corner at the belt. And Santiago's curve is not a big one. It's quick. And he's been able to hit that corner so far. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner in scoring position. Top of the first, no score. The first game of the World Series from Fenway Park, Boston, on a beautiful afternoon. Now the signal. Santiago glances at second. Petrocelli holds Brock close. And the pitch to Maris. Fastball outside, ball 2. When Brock is on base, it isn't only what he does so far as running, it's the distraction that he affords to the pitcher and what he does to the infield. For example, Petrocelli and Adair have been taking turns. Actually, they've been out of position as a result. And that's what a fellow like Brock can do to you by getting on base. Now the pitch to Roger Maris. 2 balls and a strike. The glance at second, Petrocelli holding him close, and Santiago steps back off the rubber. The breeze, the wind is not any factor today. Here's the stretch. The pitch, and he takes outside and high. And the count, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Brock faked as if to make a delayed attempt to steal, and Gibson was ready to fire. Gibson, the catcher of the Red Sox. 3 balls and a strike. Joe Schultz coaching at third base for the Cardinals. He controls the hitter-take sign to Maris. Dick Sisler coaching at first base. Here's Santiago getting ready. Brock a lead at second base. There's the glance back. And the pitch. He walked in ball 4. And so, the Cardinals candidate for the National League's most valuable player, who had himself a banner year with 111 runs batted in, 25 homers, hit .325, Orlando Cepeda comes up to face his friend from Puerto Rico, but right now, baseball enemy. Orlando digging in. Stands deep. Runners are at first and second, one out. Cepeda is a double play possibility because he doesn't get away from the plate well, although he has good straightaway speed once he gets started. The reason that he's a double play possibility is because he hits the ball so sharply. There's a stretch from the belt to pitch. It's a fastball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at first and second. In the National League, the opposition tried to jam Cepeda. Fastballs in on his fist. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at first and second. Orlando waiting. Santiago glances back. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 2. McCarver waiting to hit next. And Santiago having trouble. We're in the top of the first inning with no score. Runners are at first and second with 1 out. Orlando Cepeda digging in. Jose Santiago, who had a fine season, winning 12, losing 4 for the Red Sox. Stockily built right-hander. 2 balls and nothing. Runners at first and second. Now the signal. The glance back. Maris a long lead at first base. And the pitch to Cepeda. He steps back off the rubber. Brock continues to dance around at second base. Now Cepeda digs in. The stretch from the belt. Adair jockeying around. The pitch swung. High pop foul back. Out of play. In the stands. Gibson chases it, but no chance. The ball into the stands on the first base side. So the count 2 balls and a strike. With 2 balls, no strikes, Santiago threw a fastball. Jammed Cepeda with it, and he got around late. The count 2 balls and a strike. The outfield, deep everywhere. Cepeda the hitter. Maris at first base. Scott doesn't hold him on. Plays deep. Brock at second base. Petrocelli and Adair have been doing an excellent job of holding him close. 2 balls, 1 strike. There's Petrocelli behind Brock. The pitch. Swung, and he fouled it back to the screen. He had a good cut. He was trying to go to the opposite field. That evens it up. And so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. The ball rolls off the screen and back onto the wall, and the Cardinal bat boy, Jerry, picks it up. Runners at first and second, 1 away. Orlando Cepeda the hitter. The Cardinals trying to break out in front. Santiago gets set. The 2-2 pitch. Here's a big one. Curveball high and outside. Barely missed with it. And the crowd groaned on that one. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cepeda, as the pitch passed the plate, quickly looked back over his shoulder. I don't think he was too sure which way it would be called. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and let's see if the runners break. There's only 1 out. Cepeda waiting. Brock a lead. Maris is at first. There's the stretch. The hesitation. The whirl and throw to second. Brock is back safely. Adair took the throw. 3 balls, 2 strikes. All year long, the Cardinals run in this situation. And let's see what they'll do in the World Series. There's only 1 away. The danger of running is that should Cepeda strike out, you'd run into the end of the inning, perhaps. But Brock is fast. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The stretch. There go the runners. The pitch. Bouncing ball to the third baseman. Steps on third for 1. Jones throw to first. Double play. So Cepeda hit to a double play. From Dalton Jones to George Scott. And so, in the first half of the first inning, it's no runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left for the Cardinals. You're swinging for a new set of snow tires this winter, don't be struck out by a fast-selling pitch. Make the sure hit at your straight-talking B.F. Goodrich dealer. Ask him about the BFG Trailmaker Silvertop. It's the hardest-hitting snow tire on the road. A tough competitor that digs in deep to keep you going, on ice or through heavy snow. Its tough 4-ply nylon cord with a husky tread and the deepest biting edges in the business. Tough inside, tough outside. Yet you'll never hear it growl. It rides quiet on wet or dry roads. Trailmaker Silvertown snow tires have stopping power too. And if the going gets really skittish, you can have your Trailmakers with steel safety studs. There's no money down with a B.F. Goodrich Choice Charge account. And installation is free. So make a hit with power-driving B.F. Goodrich Trailmaker Silvertown snow tires. Get them now from your straight-talking B.F. Goodrich dealer. A threat for the Cardinals, but no score. Now let's see what the Red Sox will do.
Well, Harry, Santiago could have gotten himself in a jam right there. He had runners on first and second and one out, but he got out of it. Let's see what happens to Bob Gibson.
Jerry Adair, right-handed batter. First pitch, he swings, and he misses strike one. Adair hit .273. 3 homers and 35 runs batted in. Jerry's been around the American League a little bit with Baltimore, the White Sox, now Boston. The pitch is a fastball, low and outside. Gibson, a fastball pitcher. And a good slider. There are days when his breaking ball is very, very effective. Other days, it might hang. Here's a pitch on the way. And it's a fastball high. 2 balls and a strike on Jerry Adair. Eddie Popowski coaching at third base. Bobby Doerr at first base. Adair leading off, right-handed batter. The Cardinals play him straight away. The windup, the pitch. He had a good cut and he fouled back to the screen. Adair had 3 homers this season. His biggest year in home runs was 11 with Baltimore in 1962. Right-handed hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Now Gibson winds. Here's the pitch. Curveball, low and away. The count is full at 3-2. And the Red Sox fans and their legion here today wait in expectancy. The pitch. He struck him out swinging on a high fastball. Pee-wee, he may have chased a bad ball.
Well, I guess with a fellow like Bob Gibson, he pitches a lot of high fastballs, and not too many pitchers can get away with that. But you don't want to take that third strike, and Adair went down swinging.
There's one away, and here is Dalton Jones, who started the inning double play for the Red Sox in the first. Here's the pitch to the left-hand hitter, and it's high and outside. Dalton Jones, a line drive hitter, pops that ball to all fields. He hit .289. 3 homers, 25 runs batted in. Straddles the plate, Gibson's pitch. It's a fastball, a little bit low, and Gibson wasn't happy about that call. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out and nobody on, and Carl Yastrzemski will be up there next. The Cardinals' strategy, if you call it that, 2 balls, no strikes, the pitch. He swings late at a fastball. The Cardinals hope to be able to keep Adair and Jones off base, so when Yastrzemski comes up, the bases will be empty. They figure he's going to get his hits. Here's the delivery. Swung and missed a curveball. And the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. So far, it's only a few pitches, but Gibson is overpowering. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jones waits. The windup. The pitch. He struck him out swinging. Dalton Jones goes down swinging. And listen to the hand and how richly earned for Carl Yastrzemski. What a year. This fella had a career in one season. 44 homers tied in that department with Harmon Killebrew. Here's the windup, the pitch to the left-hand hitter. Fastball a little bit low. He drove in 121 runs, which was tops. He hit .326. That was tops. A Triple Crown winner and undoubtedly a unanimous MVP. Here's the pitch. Curveball low. He changed up on that one. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 out. Bob Gibson has fanned the first 2 men he faced. Gibson, you know, holds a World Series strikeout record established in 1964. Now the sign. 2 balls, no strikes. Yastrzemski, left-handed batter, the pitch. Swings, high pop foul. Cepeda coming down the line. Gibson's calling for a ball, but Gibson lets Cepeda take it. Gibson, you know, is that kind of an athlete. But Cepeda took the little pop foul, and the Red Sox go down in order. And the score at the end of the first inning, St. Louis nothing, Boston nothing.
Hello, this is Petula Clark for Plymouth 68. And the beat goes on. Yes, the beat goes on.
Last year, over 250,000 owners of other low-price cars were won over to Plymouth. It started a movement, a momentum, a beat. And the beat goes on.
Styles have come and surely styles will go. But Plymouth beauty is not a fad, you know. He's got what you've been looking for. It delivers looks and so much more. And the beat goes on. Yes, the beat goes on. The Plymouth, when you overbeat, goes on.
And now, 3 important words from your nearby Plymouth dealer. Enjoy the game. We go into the top of the second inning, and Tim McCarver will lead it off for the Cardinals, who threatened in the first but were retired at Santiago. Forced Orlando Cepeda to bounce into a double play, beautifully handled by Dalton Jones at third base, who stepped on the bag to force Brock and fired perfectly to Scott to complete the double play. But now it's the second inning, and here's McCarver. He hit .295, his career high this past season. He hit 14 home runs, his career high this past season. He drove in 69 runs, which was his career high this past season. Need I tell you, he had his greatest year. The pitch. What? Curveball in there. Strike call. Santiago has a fine curveball.
It's hard to hear because
Tim, left-handed batter. Does a little form of calisthenics, loosening up there. Now the sign. Here's the windup. The pitch. A tap foul. 2 strikes, no more. The outfield. Pee Wee, I've noticed it looks like, I guess it's because of this ballpark, it seems like they play all hitters about the same.
Well, it looks that way. I've noticed that in Yastrzemski out in left field, they have a little spot that's worn out there. He plays a little bit more left center, I think, than most outfielders do in most parts. But this park is so short that he just gives them that left field line.
Pitch to McCarver, swung and missed, and he lost his helmet on that one. McCarver goes down swinging. There's the second strikeout for Santiago. And that'll bring up Mike Shannon, the third baseman of the Cardinals. He hit .245 this past year. He had 12 homers, drove in 77 runs. A tremendously popular athlete, being St. Louis born and bred. Here's the windup and the pitch. Curveball line, left field base hit. Santiago hung that curveball, and Shannon drilled it like a bullet into left. So Shannon is on with the Cardinals' second hit of the ballgame, and here is Julian Javier, the Cardinals' second baseman, who hit .281 this season with 14 homers and 64 runs batted in. Shannon at first base with 1 out. Al Maxwell kneeling in the on-deck circle. The signal from the stretch. The pitch. Hooley takes curve into the dirt. Nice play by the catcher, Russ Gibson. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, 1 on. No score, second inning, first game of the World Series. Beautiful afternoon. The temperature must be in the 70s. Now Hooley gets set. He has faced Santiago in the Winter Leagues many, many times. Now the stretch. A lead by Shannon. The pitch. Line drive, left center field, base hit. Shannon around second base. Will he try for third? Here he comes. Reggie Smith fumbles the ball. And Shannon goes sliding into third base. Boy, that was some daring on Shannon's part, because Reggie Smith has one of the greatest arms in baseball. And had he not fumbled the ball, I think he would have thrown Mike out by a pretty good margin at third base. But the Cardinals were gambling, and they wind up with runners at first and third and 1 out.
Harry, I'm kind of sorry to see Reggie Smith fumble that ball, because I was telling you last night, if we get an opportunity, this Reggie Smith has one of the finest arms you'll ever see. And you said finer than Carl Furillo, the old outfielder for the Dodgers, right fielder. I believe he does have, Harry. And he would have had a shot at Mike Shannon and at third base. This is what this Cardinals have done all year. They've taken that gamble.
So it's runners at first and third. Let's watch the Red Sox infield. They play halfway around short and second. Down Maxfield, the batter. He hit .227. Had a lot of timely hits. Drove in 41 runs with one homer, that inside the park. They're stretched the pitch. Maxfield takes curve outside. Now Javier has better than average speed. Very fast at first base. Shannon's at third base. The infield, Scott holding the runner on at first. Dalton Jones is just a step behind the bag at third. Petrocelli and Adair are halfway at short and second. The outfield's playing with Yastrzemski towards left center. A lot of line drives in most ballparks with the extra bases to left center will be easy outs in this ballpark. Runners at first and third. The Cardinals threatening for the second straight inning. Here's Santiago getting set. The stretch. The pitch to Maxwell. Ooh, he undressed him on that one. There was one right under his chin. That's what you call a major league brushback. And Maxwell, his helmet went one way, his bat went another way, and his body went still a third. And I'm glad his body went in the direction it did, because that way he avoided the pitch. So the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Runners at first and third. Maxwell likes to hit and run, especially with Javier at first base, which he is now. Shannon's at third. 2 balls, no strikes. The stretch. Javier lead. The pitch. Curve outside. And it's ball 3. Now the pitcher, Bob Gibson, will be coming up next. There's no score in this ball game. We're in the top of the second inning. Runners are at first and third with 1 out. Pee-wee?
Harry, at times like this, you've seen it and I've seen it, where you'll pitch around this fella here and hoping that you can get to the pitcher and have an easy out, maybe get 2 outs, not score, but not with Bob Gibson, the next hitter, because he is a very fine hitting pitcher.
Here's a pitch. He walked him, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Maxwell has drawn a base on balls, and Bob Gibson, who has bemoaned the fact, Pee-wee, that this has been his poorest season batting in his career. He has hit home runs in the major leagues. This season he hit only 133 with just 8 hits and 60 times at bat. A right-handed batter. Activity for the Red Sox in their bullpen. We'll tell you about it in a moment. Bases loaded, infield back, to pitch to Gibson. Curveball high, ball 1. Lee Sang is warming up in the bullpen out in right center. The manager of the Red Sox is walking slowly out to talk to Jose Santiago. Dick Williams, who without any question will be the manager of the year in the American League, and maybe the manager of many a year. What a job this fella did. And while manager Williams walks out to the mound, we'll pause 30 seconds for station identification.
If you've grown up around here, chances are you take Saratoga Vichy for granted. Well, don't. What you're being so blasé about happens to be one of the most extraordinary natural products in all the world. People send for it from all over, both for its curious taste and for that remarkably long-lived carbonation the Vichy people are always talking about. Saratoga Vichy, the only mixer we know of that people built a city just to be near.
Bob Gibson, low and outside. Ball 2. This inning started with McCarver striking out. Shannon lined to single to left. Javier looped to single to center. Shannon going to third. Maxwell walked on 4 straight pitches. Now Bob Gibson has a count of 2 balls, no strikes. Now the windup. Here's Santiago's pitch. Ground ball, might be a double play. Jones up, throws to second for 1. Over to first base. Out, double play. They turned it over. Dalton Jones for the second inning in a row. The double play goes from Jones to Adair to Scott. And so the Cardinals fail to score. It's no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And the score score at the end of an inning and a half. St. Louis nothing, Boston nothing.
Your new Technocrat razor gives a very nice shave.
Crazy about not having to handle razor blades since I got your Tectonics razor.
I like the light feel of your Technotic razor.
Curiously smooth shave this morning with your Techmatonic razor.
Did you know a guy could flip that lever for a new edge right in the middle of a shave with his Technochrome razor of yours?
No nicks yet with your technical razor.
The hard-pronouncing, easy-shaving Gillette Techmatic razor. Ask your face about it.
This is the Bright Sound in radio. WGY, a General Electric Broadcasting Company station at 810 on your dial in Schenectady, New York.
He was just put on. He went out and talked to Santiago. He did that last Saturday. Santiago was a little high with the ball. He told him to keep the ball down, and that's exactly what Santiago did there, and he got another double play and got out of 2 tough innings.
Boy, that he did. And the play on Gibson at first base, I was amazed how close it was. Gibson, you know, just had a broken leg this summer. Here's the first pitch swung on by Ken Harrelson, a fly ball to right field. Roger Maris there, and he has it. Ken Harrelson, who hit .255 with 12 homers and 54 runs batted in, went after the first pitch and flat out to Maris. That'll bring up George Scott, a popular favorite here. Listen to the crowd. Scott hit .303 with 19 homers.
This is WGY, a General Electric Broadcasting Company station.
Drove in 82 runs, batted .303, 19 home runs, and a great defensive first baseman. This fellow's got a short left field fence. Here's the pitch. Line drive, base hit. Left center field, Brock going over. Here's Scott rounding first, holds up there. And there's the first Red Sox hit. A line single to left center by George Scott. Now Rico Petrocelli, the shortstop. When you have a shortstop that hits 17 home runs, you know you have yourself some property. He drove in 66 runs. He hit .259, right-handed batter. Stretch pitch. He swung and he missed. He was trying to go to the opposite field. 1 strike, no ball. Petrocelli, the hitter. Right-handed batter. Scott, the runner at first. Listen to the Red Sox fans. An old staccato applause. Gibson gets set. The pitch. Here it is. He swung and he missed. Strike 2. Petrocelli had a good cut that time. We're in the second inning. No score. With 1 out, Scott is single to left center. And Petrocelli is the batter. That was the first hit for the Red Sox. Now to stretch. The pitch high. And Gibson has plenty of smoke. You know, Dalton Jones, playing in his first World Series, has already tied the World Series record by starting 2 double plays in a game. That's a record for a third baseman. Sometimes it doesn't take you long to get into that record book in World Series competition, and sometimes some great stars never even played in a World Series. 1 out, a runner at first. Petrocelli, 2 strikes and a ball. Gibson's pitch. He struck him out swinging. He stole 17 bases. He hit .246. He had 15 homers, 61 runs batted in. Switch hitter. Batting left-handed against Bob Gibson. I see Flood is playing him towards left field. They don't play him to pull. In fact, Flood is looking towards Roger Maris for guidance as he moves towards left field, out of his center field position. Reggie swings and misses a fastball. Had a good cut. Or they say this youngster has a tremendous future. It's his first full year, and it's a good one. He'll hit much higher than 246 before he's through. Great speed, wonderful arm, as we've discussed. The stretch pitch. There goes the runner, swung, bouncing foul. Past Bobby Doerr. Into the Red Sox dugout, or Dick Williams grabbed that ball. So, 2 strikes to nothing on Reggie Smith. George Scott, the runner at first base. You know, Scott, for a big fella, can run. He stole 11 bases. The stretch. He has a lead. The pitch. Line foul. Into the stands on the roof in left field. He got around late on that one, Pee-wee, so I guess their defense, they know what they're doing out there.
Well, Reggie Smith, he's a few times that I've seen him this year, he's liable to hit the ball anywhere. Of course, Bob Gibson's real good fastball. He's more apt to hit it off over into left field. But if he throws him a curveball, gets it down, or in a little bit on him, he's more apt to pull it.
2 strikes is the count on Reggie Smith. Scott a lead, Cepeda holding him on. The pitch. Fastball outside. And the count, 2 strikes on the wall. I don't believe that was a pitch out, although it was in a pitch out position. We're in the second inning, no score. The Red Sox have just had their first hit. The Cardinals have had 3 hits so far, have threatened twice, but failed to come across. Throw to first, runner back. Cepeda returns the ball to Bob Gibson. Bottom half of the second inning, no score. Gibson takes his cap off, wipes his face. It's warm down on that field. Now time is called. Let's see. Pee-wee, I wonder if they're getting an admission price out of those fans who are draped around that sign out in center field outside the ballpark.
Well, of course, latter part of the season, they've been up there. We even had a couple of them on the scoreboard out in right field. Of course, they finally chased them off because this is right inside of the ballpark. But they've been trying to get into this ballpark, and, of course, it's standing room only, and that's a nice place to be out there.
You know, we have the delay now is because one of the fans is on the top of the green monster right next to the foul pole, and they're trying to get him down. So, with a small ballpark here at Fenway, fans are using every devious means of witnessing this spectacle, even to the point of taking their life in jeopardy, as it were, by hanging off signs that are extended some 100 feet above the ground. Reggie Smith is the hitter. 2 strikes and a ball to count. We're in the bottom of the second, no score. The runner at first base, George Scott. Gibson's pitch. Here it is. Swung a high pop foul back, and Pee-wee Reese, I thought, might have a put out, but over his head and onto the roof.
Harry,
what's your record this year on foul ball?
I've been ducking him all this year, Harry. What's your record with that little basket of yours?
That net of mine was in a slump all season long. I think it caught 5 this year. Here's the stretch. And the pitch. There goes the runner. Swung, and he struck him out. Reggie Smith becomes the 4th strikeout victim for Bob Gibson, who has fanned 2 in each of the first 2 innings. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. The score at the end of the second inning, St. Louis nothing, Boston nothing. So you've made up your mind. You're going to try a big one, you know. One of those new extra-length cigarettes. Well, then this announcement is just for you. If you want a long one, be sure you get the one taste worth making longer. Get the taste that's springtime fresh. That's right, the taste of new Super King Size Salem filter cigarettes. Yes, they're here. Brand new Super King Size Salem with the extra length that refreshes your taste a few moments longer. And aren't you glad you get a few moments more to enjoy America's favorite menthol taste? The freshest taste in smoking, now extended just a few moments longer. So if you want to try a big cigarette, don't make a big mistake when it comes to taste. Try new Super King Size Salem. 1 pack, and you'll know what we mean when we say, here's the one menthol taste worth making longer. We go into the top of the 3rd. No score. Pee-wee, I'm wondering if this is one of those ball games where one team keeps knocking at the door and never quite arrives, and then the other team suddenly slips in and it's all over.
Well, both these clubs, Harry, they have pretty good power, and of course there are two pretty good pitchers working out there right now. Santiago, if he can keep the ball down, as you noticed a while ago, he does not have a big curveball, but he has a real quick breaking slider. He keeps the ball down, he's pretty tough. And of course, everybody knows that Bob Gibson's tough, so it could be a low-scoring ball game, but maybe they're kind of fencing here and just feeling each other out.
We go to the top of the third, and as we do, it'll be the top of the batting order again for the Cardinals. The Redbirds, by the way, have won the series opener only twice, in 1934 and in 1964. Have lost their opening game in World Series competition 8 times. Now, the Cardinals have won more World Series, 7 in 10 tries, than any major league club except the Yankees, who won 20 out of 29. Here's Lou Brock. He opened the ball game with a base hit and stole second, but did not score in that first inning. We're in the top of the third, Santiago's first pitch. Brock swings. High fly ball, deep left field. If it stays fair, let's see. It is a foul ball into the left field corner. Lou Brock aiming for that fence. You know, Pee-wee, he has hit home runs into our left field stands in St. Louis, which is a much deeper poke than here in Boston.
Yes, it is. I've seen Lou. We've seen the Cardinals a couple of times this year, and I saw him hit 2 tremendous home runs in right center, too. This fella, who is not too big, has good power. And as we've said so often, he is not the type of fella that'll only beat you with his bat or with his glove. He can beat you on that base with just a base-on ball.
The pitch to him. Swung line drive base hit. Lou Brock lines a single into center field. So he's been to bat twice. He's singled twice. He's batting at 1,000. During the season, he had 206 hits. Roberto Clemente led the league in total hits.
Last night, Mr. Harry Carey was making a prediction on the series. He said, my prediction to be the star of this World Series will be none other than Lou Brock. 2 for 2 so far. Not bad, Harry.
Well, it's a long way to go in this series, but he's got so many things to star with. Lou Brock, the throw over to first base by Santiago, but he's back there. Again, he throws. It might be close, and he is safe. He had a dive back head first this time. He almost got him leaning the wrong way. The Cardinals now have had 4 hits in this ball game. Curt Flood, who was out on strikes his first time up, is the hitter. A lead by Brock. Santiago ready. The pitch. Inside and high. I noticed Santiago pitched Flood inside his first time at bat. Got him on a curveball over the inside part of the plate. And this pitch to him was inside again. Here's Brock taking a lead. He stole second in the first inning. A single by Brock and a walk to Maris in the first before Cepeda hit into a double play to end the inning. They had singles by Shannon and Javier and a walk to Maxville in the second before Gibson hit into a double play. And now they've got Brock at third and Flood at second. 5 hits for the Redbirds. We're in the third inning. The infield is playing back. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Santiago gets set as Roger Maris waits the pitch. He had a good cut and he fouled back to the screen, strike 1. 1 strike and no ball. Lou Brock at third base. Curt Flood at second base. Nobody out. The infield playing back, conceding the run for the out. Roger Maris digging in. Here's the pitch. He had a good cut again and fouled it back. Boy, he just had 2 real rips. This inning started with Lou Brock lining a single in the center field. Then Curt Flood ripped a low line drive into the left field corner for a double. Brock racing to third. That's where he is now. Roger Maris with a count of strike 2. Now the signal. Santiago's pitch, and here it is. Swings and he foul tips. Curveball. They like to throw Maris off-speed pitches, especially when they get in front of him. Roger Maris, veteran right fielder. The only man who ever hit more home runs than Babe Ruth. Cardinals threatening for the third straight inning. Now Santiago gets set. The windup, the pitch. Inside fastball. The crowd groans as they thought it might have caught the inside corner. A gutting pitch by Santiago that time. He tried to jam him with the fastball. Almost caught that inside corner. Lee Stang is working out on the bullpen for the Red Sox. 2 strikes and a ball on Roger Maris. Cepeda will be next. Now the wind. The pitch. Foul tipped. Barely got a piece of the ball. And Santiago has done a tremendous job when the pressure's been on. He got Cepeda to hit into a double play in the first. He got Gibson to roll into a double play in the second. And he is really battling Roger Maris here in the third. Runners at second and third and nobody out. No score. Now the signal. Here's the windup. The pitch to Maris. Smash on the ground. The run will score. Scott up with the ball. Steps on the bag. And Flood advances to third. Roger Maris drives in the first run of the 1967 World Series. A hot shot on the ground to Scott, who fielded the ball, stepped on the bag unassisted. Brock crossing the plate. Flood advancing to third. And now here's Cepeda with the infield coming in. Orlando hitting a double play, as I mentioned in the first. The big man in the Cardinal lineup. Here's the pitch by Santiago. Popped up in foul territory. Dalton Jones has got to play. Makes the catch. Cepeda on the first pitch. Foul to Jones. And Santiago got a big man out. And now with 2 away, the infield can play in normal position as Tim McCarver comes to the plate. Santiago has had the number of his countryman, Orlando Cepeda, the first 2 times at bat. Each time with men in scoring position. He got him to hit into a double play and he got him to pop up with a runner at third. Now there's 2 out and here's McCarver. He fanned his first time up. Left-handed hitter, the pitch. Curve of beauty hit that outside corner to the knee. 1 strike and no ball. Jam-packed ballpark in Boston. First game of the World Series, the Cardinals are out in front 1-0. Now Santiago is set. Here's the pitch. Outside. That evens it. A ball and a strike. Flood was way down the third baseline, and Gibson, the catcher, took a look at him. Tim McCarver. Left-handed batter. Cardinal catcher. Drove in 69 runs during the season. Here's the pitch. Barely missed the outside corner. McCarver wants a squeeze of that rosin bag. In the 1964 World Series, in the pivotal 5th game, after Tommy Tresh, with 2 out and a man on in the bottom of the 9th, had hit a homer to tie up Gibson 2-2, it was McCarver in the 10th who hit the 3-run homer to win the ball game 5-2. And, of course, that was perhaps the key game of the series. Here's a pitch. High. A fastball, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Shannon will be up there next. McCarver takes a look at Joe Schultz coaching third. For the hit or take. With a count 3 balls, 1 strike. Time is called just as Santiago started his wind-up. 1-0 St. Louis, top of the third. The Redbirds have had 5 hits. The Red Sox have had 1. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. He walked him. That is the 3rd pass given up by Santiago. He has certainly been in a lot of trouble, Pee-wee, and still trails only 1-0.
Yes, he certainly has. He hasn't had his real good control. Of course, as a ball club like the Cardinals, you have to pitch him a little bit. carefully. I believe that he did not want McCarver to hit that pitch. He wanted to pitch around him and pitch to Mike Shannon. Of course, Shannon has 1-for-1 today, but I believe he would rather pitch to Shannon. He had McCarver.
All right, here's Mike Shannon. Runners at first and third, 2 out. Cardinals lead 1-0. The pitch. Popped it up on the infield. He fooled him with a curveball, and Adair will field this one. He does. Shannon popped to Adair. 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings is now St. Louis 1, Boston nothing. The guy who can come in off the bench and pinch hit for real power, well, he's the kind of insurance every manager likes to have. We mention this because all you grandstand managers are going to need some pinch-hitting power real soon. With winter just around the corner, you'll probably be changing the lineup on your car and calling in a set of new snow tires. So why not get yourself the toughest pinch hitters in the entire Winter League, B.F. Goodrich Trailmakers Silvertown Snow Tires. They'll come in cold and hit for power through the heaviest snow. They'll come right down to grips with ice, take off smooth in the most skittish places. They're built with new, customized nylon cord, so they can take the pounding for a long winter season and come back next year for more. And if you wish, they can be equipped with steel safety studs. No need for any money down with a BFG Choice Charge account. And installations absolutely free. B.F. Goodrich Trailmaker Silvertown Snow Tires, only at your B.F. Goodrich store or dealer.
Well, so far it's been Bob Gibson and the Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals have 1 run on 5 hit. The Boston club has not done too much with Gibson. They have no runs on 1 hit. The first hitter for the Boston Red Sox will be the catcher, Russ Gibson. Harry Carey.
All right, Pee Wee Gibson, who hit 203 with 1 homer, 15 runs batted in during the season. He is not known as much for his hitting as for his defensive ability behind the plate. But these are the kind of fellows sometimes who are the stars in the World Series. There's a curveball, swung on and missed. Gibson has fanned 4. He's allowed 1 hit. He hasn't walked anybody. He leads 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Now the pitch. He swings at a curve and he misses it. 2 strikes. No ball. Russ Gibson. He's been in the Red Sox organization. Up and down. Here's the pitch. Curveball outside. Been with the Red Sox since 1957. Last year he's at Toronto. Now the pitch to him. He struck him out. Gibson becomes Gibson's. Russ Gibson becomes Bob Gibson's 5th strikeout victim. And in fact, that's 3 strikeouts in a row for Gibson. After Scott singled in the 2nd, he fanned Petrocelli and Reggie Smith. Now he opens the 3rd, striking out Russ Gibson. Here's Jose Santiago, right-handed batter. He had 8 hits during the season. 1 home run, the pitch. Strike call, the fastball. Drove in 3 runs, he hit 190. Right-handed batter, as he is a right-handed pitcher. 1 out, nobody on base. We're in the 3rd. Here's the pitch. Foul back to the screen. And Gibson is out in front of Santiago. 2 strikes, no ball. Gibson, who has fanned 5 already. The last 3 in succession. And he's ahead of Santiago, 2 strikes, no balls. Cardinals leading in the 3rd, 1-0. Now the wind, the pitch. Swung late, foul back. Into the press box, almost got Bob Addy. The Washington sports writer and Neil Russo of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. They didn't show me too much courage on that one, Pee Wee.
Don't blame him.
Discretion's a better part of valor anyhow. Here's a pitch swung. There's a drive. Way back. It might be out of here. It could be. And there's a home run. to 2 strikes and no balls, and Bob Gibson is a little put out at himself. Here now is Jerry Adair, the pitch. Swung, foul back, out of play. Anybody who swings that bat is dangerous. And Santiago just proved that. He was in the hole, 2 strikes and nothing. He's the pitcher. Gibson hung a slider and he hit it on the screen. Here's the pitch. Adair takes a curve, strike 2. This game is tied. The Red Sox, with 1 swing of Santiago's bat, have equalized. Here's a pitch low. What the Cardinals have done with 5 hits and 3 walks. So the Cardinals have had 8 men on base and have scored 1 run, and Santiago, the pitcher, swung his bat once and tied it up. Jerry Adair. Here's the pitch. He struck him out swinging. The 6th strikeout for Bob Gibson. Here's Dalton Jones, who fanned his first time up. Jose Santiago. Well, I wonder how many pitchers have hit home runs in World Series. I know there's quite a few, but nevertheless, it's the most honorable distinction for a pitcher who remembers a base hit anytime. A home run in the World Series. Jose will be talking about that one for the rest of his life. Here's the pitch to Dalton Jones. Swung and foul back. 1 strike, no ball.
I imagine Bob Gibson will be talking about it, too. With no balls and 2 strikes on him, he does not make that mistake too often, especially to a pitcher. He probably got a little careless.
1 strike, no balls. The pitch, and it's a little bit low. Mudcat Grant of the Twins was the last pitcher to hit a home run in the World Series back in 2 years ago, 1965. Now the wind, the pitch. Fouled it back to the screen. 2 strikes and a ball on left-hand hitting Dalton Jones. Bob Gibson, who is fan 6. He's allowed 2 hits, but one of them a home run by Jose Santiago. Now the signal. Waiting. Here's the pitch. Broken bat, pop fly, got a chance to drop. Here's Javier going out. Cepeda goes out, and Orlando makes the catch. Cepeda ran down the right field line and grabbed Dalton Jones' pop fly. So it is 1 run, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. And the score at the end of 3 innings.
Hello, this is Petula Clark for Plymouth 68. And the beat goes on. Yes, the beat goes on.
Last year, over 250,000 owners of other low-price cars were won over to Plymouth. It started a movement, a momentum, a beat. And the beat goes on at your Plymouth dealers.
Styles have come and surely styles will go. But Plymouth Beauty is not a fad, you know. No.
Plymouth Beauty does go on and on, as does your Plymouth dealer's great deals. See him now. He'll show you how last year's success cars are even more beautiful for 68.
And the beat goes on. Yes, the beat goes on. The Plymouth, when you over, beat goes on.
And now 3 important words from your nearby Plymouth dealer. Enjoy the game. Brand new ball game, Pee-wee. We go into the top of the 4th. All tied up, 1-1. And Julian Javier, who singled his first time up, will lead it off for the Cardinals. The pitcher, Santiago, with 2 strikes, no balls, homered to the left center field screen. The pitch to Juli. Swung, ground ball. Up the middle. Into center, base hit. Petrocelli dove for the ball, but couldn't reach it. So Javier, like Brock now, has had 2 hits. This is the 3rd time, the 3rd inning out of the 4 played that the Cardinals' leadoff man has hit safely. Here's Dow Maxville. Now here's a situation where Maxville likes to hit and run. With Javier on at first base and nobody out. The pitcher, Bob Gibson, will be up there next. The See how the Cardinals play it here. Javier leads the stretch by Santiago. Here's the pitch. Swung, trying to hit the right and fouled back and out of play. 1 strike, no ball. Beautiful afternoon at Fenway Park in Boston. A capacity crowd, of course. And seeing a good ball game, tied up 1-1. Bob Gibson against Santiago. Jim Lonborg will pitch tomorrow for the Red Sox against Dick Hughes for the Cardinals. Throw to first, the runner back. Javier, good speed, as I believe I mentioned before. Maxfield likes to hit the ball to the opposite field. The stretch, the pitch. Curveball low. So it's a ball and a strike on the right-hand hitting shortstop of the Cardinals, Dal Maxfield, who has a degree in electrical engineering from Washington University. Now the sign. Javier lead. Might go. There he goes. The pitch swung, a high bouncing ball towards second. And Adair's only play is to first base, and he gets him. But Javier has advanced to second base. Maxfield with the hit run on. Bounced a high chopper over the pitcher's head. Adair's only play was to first base, and then he just barely got Maxfield, and there's one away. Bob Gibson steps up. He hit into a double play with the bases loaded in the second. The Cardinals now have had 6 hits, scored 1 run. They've had runners at first and second with 1 out and failed to score, and the bases loaded with 1 out, failed to score. Here's the pitch to Gibson, swung on and missed. Had runners at second and third with nobody out in the third and got only 1 run. So they've had a lot of opportunities. Bob Gibson, for a pitcher, not a bad hitter. Javier, a long lead at second base. Here's the pitch. Gibson swings and pulls it foul. Right. Jesse Bush, the owner of the Cardinals, almost grabbed that one. Hit right in front of him. Strikes and nothing on Gibson. Santiago, a big number 30 on the back of his uniform. Gibson's number is 45. Cardinals have their names across the back of their shirts. Here's the stretch. The pitch to Gibson. Low, almost threw it away. Nice stop by Russ Gibson. A runner at second base. There's 1 out. Lou Brock will be coming up next. Brock has had successive singles 2 times at bat. He's had a stolen base. He has scored the only run. Bob Gibson in the hole. 2 strikes and a ball. Now the glance back. Julio lead, the pitch. A curve strike rate. Gibson is called out on strike. Well, I tell you, there was some difference between the pitch Santiago made to Gibson with 2 strikes and the pitch Gibson made to Santiago with 2 strikes.
I was just thinking that, Harry, on the first pitch when he had no balls and 2 strikes on Bob Gibson, Santiago threw that curveball low and almost threw it away. And on I gets him 2 balls and 2 strikes and 1 ball. He really does break off a real good curved ball and caught him looking.
All right, here's Lou Brock. Each of his other 2 times at bat, he was leading off the inning. This time, he comes up with 2 out and a man in scoring position. Left-handed batter waits. Here's Santiago's pitch. It's a curveball outside, ball 1. Brock is the type of hitter that you really cannot defense. By that I mean you can't play him to pull, you can't play him to hit to the opposite field, you can't play him straight away because he hits the ball everywhere. He can hit home runs down the left field line as well as down the right field line. His power alleys are left center and right center. He can bunt.
He's just a good hitter. Left-handed batter waits. 1 ball, no strike. Now the signal. Santiago's pitch. And here it is. Ground ball on the third base line. Foul. By about a foot. And the crowd groans on that one because
That one looked like it might stay fair and go into the corner. And the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 men are out. We're in the 4th. Lou Brock the batter. Brock hit .299 during the regular season. Had 21 homers. Left-hand batter waits. Now Santiago gets set. Javier lead at second base. From the belt, the 5th. Low outside. 2 balls and a strike. Santiago on this time at bat on Brock is really moving the ball around. First inside and outside. And everything's been low to him. 2 balls and the strike. The game is tied. We're in the 4th. Santiago glances back at Javier and pitches. Ground ball headed for left field. A base hit. Here's Javier around third. He's got a chance to score. Yastrzemski throw. He is out at the plate. Sensational throw. Yastrzemski charged the base hit like an infielder. Picked the ball up on the run, fired a strike all the way on the fly to Gibson, and threw out Javier trying to score. And it's no run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. What a ball player. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings remain. The Cardinals won and Boston won. The experts tell me that the average guy has about 15,000 whiskers on his face, and that adds up to a lot of shaving day in and day out. That's the best reason I can think of for using Gillette Foamy. No other shaving creams in this league. Gillette Foamy is as rich and thick and moist and full of lather as your beard has ever come up against, and there's a mountain of shaving comfort in every can. No wonder it's the #1 choice among men. So remember, nobody makes a lather like Foamy. Nobody makes a lather like Gillette. Yastrzemski getting a great hand. It's the first pitch, a 1-hop to Javier, who throws him out at first base. And there's 1 gone here in the bottom of the 4th. See, only a professional who's been through it all and been down on the field and in that gray and white uniform in these kind of games, I guess could really appreciate, all of the fans did too, the ability necessary to make the kind of a throw that Yastrzemski did. And I know you want to comment on it, but first, here is Ken Harrelson taking a curveball for a strike.
Well, I've seen Yastrzemski do that so many times this year. He'll go to his right and make a rifle throw to second base. He really did charge that ball. And it's remarkable how well he throws it now. That play was a tough bounce when he picked the ball up, Harry. But he came up throwing and threw a strike to the catcher, Russ Gibson, at home.
All right, here's a pitch to Harrelson. It's a curveball high. So it is 2 balls and a strike. 1 out. Yastrzemski charging that ground ball single to left, like an infielder might. At full speed, picking it up and firing all in 1 motion. And what a strike. They had Javier at the plate, quite obviously. Here's a pitch to Harrelson. Swung on, popped up. Right center. Javier backing out. Now is coming in. Flood calls for the ball and makes the catch. Harrelson popped to Flood in short right center. Here's George Scott, who got the first hit. You know, the Cardinals have had 7 hits and 3 bases on balls already in 4 innings and have scored only 1 run. It's almost unbelievable. Here's Scott. And here's the pitch. Swung, and he fouled it back, and boy, he ought to cut at that one. 1 strike, no ball. Pee-wee, how can you have 10 men on base in 4 innings and score only 1?
That's what I was thinking. It seems like this score should be about 5-1 in favor of the Cardinals. But here it is, 1-1. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
And they say that's the way the Red Sox have played them all year long. Here's the fastball, and there a strike call. 2 strikes, no ball. 2 men runner out, nobody on base, game tied, 1-1. A lot of action in this one. Here's the pitch. Boom, foul back. Into the press box. I think a Western Union man wound up with that one. 2 strikes, no balls. George Scott, the hitter. Gibson getting ready. In the excitement of the play at the plate, here's the pitch. Almost chased and held up in time. 2 strikes and a ball. In the excitement of the play at the plate, my candidate for star of the series, Lou Brock, got his third hit. We the pitch. High and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brock has had 3 hits in a row. You can really pick him, man. 2 away. Right-handed batter digging in. George Scott. Gibson's pitch. Here it is, and it's a fastball low. Ball 3. Rico Petrocelli will be next. Scott has a short left field porch here at this ballpark, but he hits the ball more to left center and straight away center field. He has great power. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Line drive. Left field, way back is blocked. Off the fence. Here goes Scott around first. Trying for second. The throw. He is safe with a double. George Scott lines a double off the left center field wall. You know, Pee Wee, there's an example. Everybody talks about how short that fence is, which it is. There are a lot of balls hit to left center, line drives, and in other parks would travel for home runs. They'll only hit that wall and go for either singles or doubles.
That's so true, Harry, because a lot of times it's not easy to hit a home run in this ballpark unless you hit a high drive or high ball, because it'll still catch part of that wall. It must be at least 60 feet high.
Rico Petrocelli swings at the first pitch, and it was a fastball up around his Adam's apple. 1 strike and no ball. 2 outs. The Red Sox have had only 3 hits, but they've played long ball. A home run by Santiago and a long double by George Scott. Here's the pitch. He swings at a curve. He tried to stop. He had chased it. And Gibson's ahead of him. 2 strikes, no ball. The game tied. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Rico Petrocelli. With a count of 2 strikes, no balls. The pitch. He struck him out swinging. That's 7 strikeouts for Gibson. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And the score now at the end of 4 innings remains: the Boston Red Sox won, the St. Louis Cardinals won.
Whistling my favorite song, gotta get moving right along. Oh, I'd walk a mile for a camel. Walking to nowhere, gonna find real big flavor there. Yes, I'd walk a mile for a camel. I'd walk a mile for a camel. I'd walk a mile with you. I've got horns and toes, little old shoe with a great big hole. Yes, I'd walk a mile for a camel. I'd walk a mile for a camel.
This little message is strictly for smokers who've never tasted a Camel cigarette. Camel smokers, you know what we mean. You other guys, start walking.
This is Harry Carey with Pee Wee Reese. We're going into the top of the 5th of an exciting ball game, all tied up 1-1, and here's Kurt Flood. He fanned in the first, he doubled in the 3rd. Santiago's first pitch of the 5th swung, line drive in the left field. Yastrzemski going back. Leap first base for a catch. Holy cow, what a play! Well, I tell you, they say that a lot of fellas fellow said, well, this guy had such a superhuman year, you couldn't expect him to continue it in the World Series. Well, I got news for you. He's still doing it. Here is Roger Maris, 1 out to pitch. Curveball inside. Flood was robbed of a double. Yastrzemski went back, leaped high in the air, and made a spectacular backhanded stab. The pitch to Maris. Pops up. Short right field. Might drop. Everybody chasing it. Base hit. Maris drops a single between Adair, Smith, and Harrelson. And that'll bring up Cepeda with a runner at first and 1 out. That is now 8 hits for the Cardinals. Not counting one that Flood was robbed of a moment ago. Yastrzemski has been the defensive wizard. If there's such a thing as Superman in baseball, the Red Sox left fielder's got to be it. Here's Cepeda. He's failed twice with men on base. And let's see if Santiago goes to the well once too often against him. The pitch. Curveball low. 1 ball, no strike. What a game this is, Pee-wee. A guy hits the ball like Flood and just an AB. Just an out. Then you bloop one like Maris and you get a base hit. Here's the pitch. Pop straight up. On the infield. George Scott into the ball. He's got it. I bet you right now, Cepeda is glad that Santiago's in the American League. Because his countryman certainly has handled them well so far.
Well, it looks to me like that Orlando Cepeda will get a free meal from Jose Santiago tonight, because he said if he got a couple of base hits, of course this ball game isn't over with, but he's handling pretty easily so far.
Here's McCarver with Maris at first base and 2 outs. The Cardinals have hit Santiago. They've had a lot of opportunities. A fine play by Yastrzemski with a perfect throw to the plate kept him from scoring in the 4th. And a remarkable catch by Yastrzemski in this inning has stopped him in the 5th. Now McCarver's up there. The pitch. Swings and he fouls it. McCarver hasn't had a real good cut at Santiago's. He hasn't quite zeroed him in. Might be one of the few times he has faced him. Santiago is a member of the Kansas City Club, faced the Cardinals in spring training in Florida. Here's the stretch. And the pitch. Fastball outside. That evens it. A ball and a strike. Maris at first base, 2 men are away. We're in the 5th. The crowd's still buzzing a little bit about Yastrzemski's last piece. A remarkable leaping backhanded stab. Here's the stretch. The pitch. Foul back. Just above us onto the roof. So McCarver is in the hole, 2 strikes and a ball. Shannon will be up there next. We're in the 5th. A lot of things have happened, but the score is 1-1. And Santiago hit the home run for that run for the Red Sox. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have had base runners all over the place. Now the signal given. From the belt. The pitch. Popped up. That'll be an easy out. Gibson, the catcher, off at the mask, getting under the ball, and he takes it. McCarver fouled to Gibson. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. At the end of 4.5 innings, the score is St. Louis 1, Boston 1.
Does the mystery of buying tires scare you a little bit? Who can blame it? You walk into the average tire store, and the place is loaded with mysterious goings-on. Even the language they use is mysterious and confusing. Terms like low profile, cross-brace treads. It's like a bad dream. Well, the nightmare is over. B.F. Goodrich has swept away the mystery of tire buying with straight talk. All you do at B.F. Goodrich is tell them how you drive, how fast, how much, and they tell you what tire is best for you. They do it with a tire value calculator, a little device that sizes up your driving habit and picks the one B.F. Goodrich tire that suits you best. They even save you money. Never again will you be caught in a web of confusion on tire buying day. Straight talk from B.F. Goodrich will see to that.
Smith leads it off. Bottom of the fifth, tied 1-1. Smith fanned his first time up. Gibson has struck out 7. We're in the bottom of the fifth. Smith, left-handed hitter with good speed. The windup, the fifth. High fly ball, center field. Kurt Flood getting the beat on it, and now Maris comes over, and Maris makes the catch. They almost collided. Maris crossed in front of Flood. They banged each other. That right field right now seems like the tough sun field, Pee-wee.
It is, Harry. Of course, it's a little bit earlier today when we started the game at 1 o'clock, but usually when the game starts at 2 o'clock or 2:15 here, it's right in the second baseman's eyes and the right fielder's eyes. But it'll get a little worse as the game progresses.
Gibson, Russ Gibson, right-handed batter will be the hitter here. Ball game in the fifth, tied up 1-1. I tell you, these first 5 innings have had a lot of action. Although the score is only 1-1. They tell me Yastrzemski. Here's a pitch, and there's a strike call. They say Yastrzemski could run for mayor. I think he could run for governor. In this state, here's the pitch. High pop foul back. 2 strikes, no ball. Happy to see it for the youngster Pee-wee. He's a wonderful lad. And he had a couple of years when things were a little tough for him around here. But he rallied like the thoroughbred, and he's had a tremendous season. Here's a pitch high. Russ Gibson, who hit 203 during the regular season. He had 1 homer. Jose Santiago had 1 homer during the regular season, and now he has hit 1 in the World Series. Here's a pitch. He almost chased it. Stopped in time. The count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wait till you hear the hand that Santiago probably will get when he comes up next. Here's the pitch. He struck him out. The 8th strikeout for Gibson. There's 2 outs. Listen to the hand for Jose Santiago. He homered with a count of 2 strikes and no balls in the 3rd. Right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. There's a strike call. Santiago with 8 hits during the regular season. 1 of them a home run. Now to pitch. He had a good cut. I tell you, he's no joke with that bat. Whenever you swing the bat like that, you're liable to hit a home run. He had a cut. 2 strikes, no ball. 2 out, nobody on. Gibson sits. He threw his bat at a curveball, striking out. So, that's 9 strikeouts for Gibson in 5 innings. And 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 5, the Cardinals won, Boston won.
Hello, this is Tequila Clark of Plymouth 68. And the beat goes on. Yes, the beat goes on.
Last year, over 250,000 owners of other low-priced cars were won over to Plymouth. It started a movement, a momentum, a beat. And the beat goes on at your Plymouth dealers.
Styles have come and surely styles will go. But Plymouth Beauty is not a fad, you know, no.
Plymouth Beauty does go on and on, as does your Plymouth dealers great deals. See him now. He'll show you how last year's success cars are even more beautiful for 68.
And now, 3 important words from your nearby Plymouth dealer. Enjoy the game. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Hear all the Warrior games on KNBR, AM and FM, San Francisco. The man at the gas pump doesn't always remember to ask you if your wiper blades have gone dead and can't stop streaking your windshield. So if they are streakers, remind him to show you a pair of fresh, new Anco anti-wind lift blades or refills. He can slip them on in seconds, and you're ready for any storm. Anco by Anderson. It's high time for Hires Root Beer. High time for the distinctively satisfying taste that only Hires Root Beer has.
Harry Carey at Fenway Park. We're going to the top of the 6th with the score all tied up. Boston won, St. Louis won. And now here to tell you all about it is Pee Wee Reese.
Okay, Harry, thank you very much and a fine job. A job well done. In the top half of the 6th inning, the first hitter for the Cardinals will be Mike Shannon. Let's see what he's done today. Shannon. He's 1 for 2. Got a base hit his first time up in the 2nd inning. Jose Santiago all the way for the Boston Red Sox. Ball hit hard. It's a base hit out in the center field. Reggie Smith, the center fielder, down on one knee, picks the ball up, and Shannon makes a turn at first base back in there. So these Cardinals, I'm telling you, they've done a little bit of everything today. They have 1 run on 9 hits. They scored 1 run in the 3rd inning. The Boston Ball Club tied it up. They have 1 run on 3 hits in the 3rd inning on Jose Santiago's home run. Yes, sir, of all people, the pitcher, Bob Gibson, made a bad pitch to him with 0-2 count on him, and he put it up in that screen out over the big green wall in left field. The hitter now is the dandy little second baseman, Javier, and what a year he had. He's 2 for 2 today. He has good speed. Hard to double this man up. Mike Shannon at first base. Watch them. They like to run this ball club. A curveball in there for call strike 1. This Cardinal ball club is called the Chicago White Sox with power. They like to run, and they do. If you throw them out, it doesn't bother them. They'll come back running again. The score is 1-1, though. The Red Sox are right in there. Fellow in left field, the name of Yastrzemski, made a couple of great plays. Threw a runner out at home. As Harry told you, charged the ball like a shortstop, which he was at one time. Javier looked like he was just trying to slap the ball in the right field. Did not have too good of a cut. The count now is 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes on Javier.
Javier is a threat, a home run threat in this ballpark. Any hanging, breaking ball, he'll hit on that screen. He's had quite a year. Yes, he has.
Javier will be followed by the shortstop, Darryl Maxwell, and then the pitcher, Bob Gibson. Santiago takes a look at Shannon. A curveball way outside. Makes the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Javier. If the count gets 2-2, 2-2, be careful. They may send him. Santiago taking a little time. Javier checking with his coach, Joe Schultz, at third base. Javier has a closed snap. His front foot is way in, his front foot is back. Back foot is way back, rather. Little tap is foul down the third base line. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Pee Wee Lee Stang is up in the bullpen for the Red Sox again. It's about the 3rd time that he's gotten up out there.
He's a little tired, but now 1 ball, 2 strikes on Javier, the second baseman. He has 2 for 2 today. On the season, he batted a fine .281. He had 14 home runs. Good power. Fastball high and inside makes the count 2-2. Well, let's see if they'll send him now with a count 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's no one away. And the score here, Cardinals 1 and the Boston Red Sox 1. The Cardinals have 9 hits and the Red Sox only have 3. But one of them was a big one by the pitcher, a home run, Jose Santiago. 2-2 is the count on Javier. Santiago looks over at Shannon. He did not go. The foul's hit. These same two teams will be right back here tomorrow. So certainly hope that you fans can be with us. Harry Carey and I, Pee Wee Reese, will be bringing you tomorrow's game, the second game of the World Series, right here at Fenway Park. Certainly hope that you're enjoying the game today. I know one thing, it's a big thrill for me. 2-2 is the count of the air. No one away. Runner on first base, Mike Shannon. Santiago comes set. The ball gets away from Gibson. Here goes the runner, Shannon, diving in there. Head first dive like the old Pepper Martin of the Cardinals. No play but Gibson as the ball gets away from him. And it was a pass ball on the catcher, Gibson. Well, the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. On Javier, who can handle that bat. No one away. Let's see if he tries to hit that ball on the ground to the right and get the runner to third base so that a fly ball will score him. The next hitter will be Dal Maxwell. Not too big of a lead by Shannon down at second base. He comes up a couple of steps. There's a tap foul down the third base line. They're playing Javier straight away. The right fielder, Ken Harrelson, he's playing in a few steps. Yastrzemski in that familiar spot of his out there in left field. Straight away on practically every hitter. He can move. Yastrzemski I'm talking about. Quite a ball player. Does not have a hit in this game, but made a couple of great plays. That 3-2 pitch by Santiago. He struck him out. That's the 4th strikeout for big number 30, Santiago, as Javier goes down swinging. Brings up the shortstop, Dal Mack. He has grounded out twice. He's 0 for 2. During the season, he walked once and grounded out. He's 0 for 1 today. On the season, he batted .227. But Harry, who has seen this young fellow all year, said he's gotten some important hits. Mike Shannon down at second base, the curveball. Looks to me like Santiago has kind of settled down a little bit. He's gotten a couple of jams the first 2 innings of this ball game and pitched out of them. The score is 1-1. The Cardinals scored 1 in the 3rd. So did the Boston Red Sox. When the top half of the 6th inning, Santiago looks back at Shannon at second base, who's dancing around. That on curveball is popped up, and Gibson, the catcher, should have a shot at it. Here comes George Scott. Look out! George Scott, Gibson took the ball, the catcher, and George Scott ran right by him. And I'm telling you, that's a lot of beef. George Scott, they call him Taters.
I imagine maybe Russ Gibson had trouble locating the ball because it was quite obviously in his territory. Scott had to run about 90 feet from his position. And boy, he was really motoring.
Harry, I'm glad you noticed that because we were doing a game here the other day and Gibson lost 2 balls on 2 pop-ups the same way, and George Scott caught one of them and couldn't get to the other one. So he has a little trouble taking the ball up here, and the sun is very high. The high fly out to left field. Yastrzemski shading his eyes. He underneath the ball and takes it for out number 3. That's all for the Cardinals here in the top half of the 6th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. So after 5.5 innings of play, it's the St. Louis Cardinals 1 and the Boston Red Sox 1.
I had a terrible experience the other day. I went to buy a pack of Gillette Super Stainless blades with miracle plastic coating on the edge. So I asked the man for Gillette Super Stainless, and he said, they call it the spoiler. I said, all that money to call it the spoiler. Why don't you ask for the spoiler? Why are you coming in here and ask for Gillette Super Stainless? Did he scare me? I don't know whether to ask for the spoiler or to go to another store from now on.
Heads Up Hair Groom has come up with a nice discovery for the man whose hair gets mussed. If you use Heads Up this morning, don't put more Heads Up on. You can regroom your hair anywhere you are with just a little water or a comb. We don't know how many times water will bring Heads Up back to life again after one application. All we can say is, try it and see. Heads Up Hair Groom in bottles or tubes by Gillette. Bottom half the sixth inning here at Fenway Park. Harry Carey, and I'm Pee Wee Reed, bringing you the first game of the World Series. Harry, it's quite a thriller.
Yes, when the Red Sox have the top of their batting order coming up, Pee Wee, with Jerry Adair stepping into the batter's box right now.
Adair. He has struck out twice. Bob Gibson. Ball hit down to the third baseman. Mike Santa makes a great play. What a play he made. That ball was right over the bag. A short hop in between her. And he came up with it, made a sidearm toss to Orlando Cepeda, getting Jerry Adair. Didn't look to me like Pepper Martin on that one.
I tell you, that young man deserves a lot of credit, Pee Wee. He's become quite a third baseman. Never played the position before in his life.
Dalton Jones takes the first pitch, ball one. Dalton Jones struck out and hopped up. He's 0 for 2. A fastball and a dandy in there. But call strike one, 1 ball and 1 strike. The score here, 1 run for the Cardinals, 9 hits. Austin, 1 run on 3 hits. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning of the Red Sox, trying to go ahead of the Cardinals. We've had everything to happen in this game. Some real fine plays, little hitting, good pitching. 2 balls, 1 strike on Dalton Jones. Here's a fellow that looked real sharp for the Red Sox the latter part of the season. A good hitter. They say they have a trouble finding a spot for him to play. That pitch is outside. Dalton Jones will be followed by Carl Yastrzemski. Ball right back to the middle of the base hit. Making the turn at first base, Dalton Jones. Up with the ball out in center field, Kurt Flood. Well, you can hear the ovation, and he deserves it. Carl Yastrzemski. He hasn't done anything at the bat, but he's made a couple of great plays in the outfield. Run away, Dalton Jones on at first base. Game is all tied up here at Fenway Park. Yastrzemski takes the first pitch. It's low and outside for ball 1. You know, Bob Gibson had his ankle broken during the season. He's a big, strong boy. He has pitched 4 times since coming back, and he's looked real sharp. He won 3 of them. You saw him, Harry.
Actually, Pee Wee, he pitched better after returning from the disabled list than he did before. And he's throwing as well today as I've seen him throw at any time.
1 ball, 1 strike on Carl Yastrzemski, who holds the bat high. Closed stance. Pulls the ball more this year. Bob Gibson, good fastball. Blown away. Yastrzemski did not like the call. And, of course, the fans here at Fenway Park didn't like the call. Most of the sports writers have picked the Cardinals to win this series. Yastrzemski shouldn't be no trouble for the left fielder, Lou Brock. He's underneath it and takes it for out number 2.
You talk about nonchalance, Pee Wee. You see on that fly ball, Brock actually took his eyes off the ball to see where the runner, Dalton Jones, was. And then located again and made the catch.
I noticed that, Harry. I thought he may be pulling some kind of a trick play there. That's kind of dangerous to take your eye off of that ball, but he did look to see where Dalton Jones was. And he was going back to first base, and it brings up Ken Harrelson. 0 for 2. Tries to check his swing, gets a piece of the ball, fouls it back. 1 strike on Ken. I got a big kick out of Ken Harrelson on a Saturday. That big game with Minnesota. He said, Pee Wee, I'm telling you, I am really nervous. I said, well, it'll leave you, Ken, when the game starts. If it doesn't, you're in trouble. Fouls it straight back. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes on Ken Harrelson. This fellow has good power. Start of the season now with Kansas City. Got a real good break, release, and came over here with the first base ball club and won the pennant. A little extra money besides. Bob Gibson. He has struck out 9 in this ball game, and he's on top of Harrelson. 0-2. Let's see how he pitches him. Well, he tried to get him go fishing, but he didn't go. Harrelson held up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A runner on at first base, Dalton Jones. The score 1-1 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Santiago all the way for the Red Sox, and Bob Gibson all the way for the Cardinals. He pops it up. Tim McCarver calling for it. Here comes the payday, but McCarver takes it. And that's all for the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. The score after 6 full innings. St. Louis 1 and Boston 1.
The top of the 7th, and Lou Brock will be leading it off for the Cardinals. He's had a perfect day, 3 out of 3, and this is the 3rd time in this ballgame, Pee Wee, that he's been the first man up in the inning.
And he has been tough, as you said, 3 for 3, and you keep getting this man on you and get yourself in trouble. Brock, could it be 4 for 4? Yes, sir. Base hit out into right field by Jerry Adair. Ken Harrelson up, and Brock makes a big turn, but goes back into first base. He has 52 stolen bases. We'll have to watch him.
Now, Pee Wee's had 2 hits into center field, 1 hit to left field, and 1 hit to straightaway right field. So he's hit the ball to every field today with getting 4 for 4.
I would say that he's pretty hard to defend against. And with his speed, he gets the ball down that line, you better hustle it back in here to have a triple. Curt Flood, who's batting second, and remarkably hitting .335. And that's a tough position to hit .330 in or hit .300, because a lot of times you have to give yourself up. By that I mean with a runner on second base, or that man, if you hit and run a lot, you have to get a piece of that ball. You don't get your ball to hit. But here's a man hit .335. Had quite a year, Curt Flood. And Lou Brock, and there he goes. The throw by Gibson. It's in there, but he didn't get him.
The throw was a little high, Pee Wee, that I had him that time. The throw had been down a little bit. Petroselli still thought he had him, but the throw was up around his eyes. By the time he came down, Lou had slid in there.
What a day he has had. The score here, 1 run, 10 hits for the Cardinals. 1 run, 4 hits for the Boston Red Sox. But the Red Sox are threatening here in the top half of the 7th inning. Curt Flood, let's see if he goes to right field as Lou Brock just stole second to try to get him to third. That's what he was trying to do, and he fouled hard off the right in the stands. Lou Brock, who stole 52 bases, very few of them were over to third base. Most of his stolen bases first to second. 4 hits by Brock ties the series record held by many. Nobody has ever had 5. Curveball just missed. Low and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike on Curt Flood. A runner down at second base. Lou Brock. The game is all tied up 1-1. Santiago all the way for the Red Sox. He's looking back at Brock. Foul tip makes the count 2-2.
There's John Wyatt out in the bullpen along with a 19-year-old youngster named Ken Brett, Pee-wee.
Of course, I've seen John Wyatt. I've never seen this young left-hander Brett, but they say he can bring it pretty hard. Well, Curt Flood did what he intended to do. He hit a ground ball down at George Scott, who took the play himself. But on the play, Brock moved to third. Now then, let's see if the infield will be playing in as big Roger Maris comes up. The score is 1-1. The tie-breaking run is down at third base. In Lou Brock. 1 away. The infield is in. They're playing Roger Maris deep and straight away. Top half the 7th inning.
I've never seen Brock steal home, Pee-wee.
That's funny, Harry. I used to be the same way. I used to steal quite a few bases when I played. I never did like to steal home. I was always afraid of that batter may not see me coming in there. Little foul straight back. There's Santiago trying to keep that ball down and away from Roger Maris. Brock back to third. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. It's 1 away. Roger Maris on deck. Orlando Cepeda. And he has not given Santiago too much trouble today. Maris. 1 for 2. As a pitch is high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike as Maris checks with his coach Joel Schultz. At third base. Coaching at first base for the Cardinals, Dick Sisler. Jerry Adair came up with the ball, but he has no play on Brock. He dove for the ball. Down on his knees, he had to flip the ball over to George Scott. So that makes the score 2-1 in favor of the Cardinals. They have been threatening in every inning, but they still only have 2 runs off of Santiago, 10 hits. The Red Sox have 1 run on 4 hits. Orlando Cepeda. He's 0 for 3. Takes the first pitch. One ball on Orlando. Santiago. In there. Call strike 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. Santiago looking for his... Well, on the year he had 12 wins and 4 losses.
You know, Pee-wee, the Cardinals have had 10 hits, and yet their 2 runs have scored on infield outs. Both time Maris has driven in the runs with infield outs.
Yeah.
Has a line drive, but it's foul. It's been a strange game. It's a very interesting game. We had a lot of things happen in it. But as we said a while ago, it looks like the Cardinals should be about 3 or 4 runs out in front. But this Red Sox ball club, don't ever count them out. They have been coming from behind all year. They seem to thrive on pressure. They're a very confident ball club. Has a pitch that's too high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In fact, you may even think that they're a little cocky sometime, but I guarantee you that doesn't hurt. The 2-2 pitch. He struck him out on a side-on curveball. That's all for the Cardinals here in the top half of the 7th inning. one hit, no errors, and no one left on base. So the score after 6.5 innings of play, it's the Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox 1. Notice how many infielders have the uncanny knack of always being right in front of the ball. They're in position, they're on their toes, and when the grounder comes, they're right there to make the play. Well, you know, most defensive drivers have the same ability. They know how to anticipate trouble and to be ready when it comes. When winter comes, and it won't be long now, they get set for snow and icy roads with a set of new snow tires. And the snow tires many good drivers prefer are B.F. Goodrich Trailmaker Silvertown. They're built of the toughest 4-ply nylon card and have the deepest biting edges you can buy. The Trailmaker tread is wide and deep, sends you over icy roads with sure-footed safety. Trailmakers are quiet, too, and they won't put you into the poorhouse either. You can get your Trailmakers for no money down. And if you want steel safety studs, your BFG dealer can handle that, too. So get into position for winter right now. Get Trailmaker Silvertown snow tires from your B.F. Goodrich store or dealer. Bottom half, the 7th inning. Here at Fenway Park, Harry Carey and I'm Pee Wee Reese, bringing you the first game of the World Series. The St. Louis Cardinals lead in this game by a score of 2-1. George Scott up for the third time today. He's had 2 for 2, a single and a double. Bob Gibson, first pitch. In there for call strike 1. Curveball that's low and outside makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. They are playing this fellow deep. Kurt Flood is way back out there in center field. And I've seen George Scott hit a few in that dead center field. There's the ball hit out to shortstop. Down Maxwell. One hopper. Flips the ball over to Cepeda. And that's all for George Scott for the first time today. A little shortstop. Rico Petrocelli is the hitter. He was a 3rd strikeout and a 7th strikeout victim of Bob Gibson. He's 0 for 2 today. Petrocelli, supposed to be a good curveball hitter. There's one in there for call strike 1. Has good power for a little fellow. Bob Gibson does not take too much. Another curveball. Started, checked his swing, went around, the umpire Johnny Stevens said. Gibson, who was a fast pitcher, did not take too much time between pitches. A curveball just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The score here at Fenway Park, it's the Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox 1. We're in the bottom half, the 7th inning. And it's 1 away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Petrocelli goes down swinging. And that is the 10th strikeout for Bob Gibson. Reggie Smith, he's 0 for 2. He struck out in the 2nd inning and flew out to the right fielder his last time up. He has good speed. He's a little bit like Brock. He's just a young fellow. Hits a whole lot like him. He's a switch hitter. Hits the ball to all fields. Has good speed. Curveball, low and outside, ball 1. It's 2 away. A good fastball, good swing, no contact. Makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. In Canada, Mexico, South America, more than 50 countries. Also the Armed Forces Radio from Bangkok to Berlin watching today's game. Over 200 million listeners, Harry.
I'm glad you didn't tell me that earlier. You'd have made me nervous, Pee-wee.
I'll never believe that. 2 balls and 1 strike on Reggie Smith. He fouls it straight back. Makes the count 2-2.
Pee-wee, you want to see something, a study of real concentration. Watch the way Gibson comes off that mound.
I remember correctly, he falls over toward first base a little bit, doesn't he?
Quite a bit.
You can see he really puts everything into the pitch. Another fellow, Harry, that does that quite a bit. He even goes down with either his glove hand or his bare hand to release the ball, Jim Bunning. Speaking of Jim Bunning, he had quite a year for the Philadelphia Phillies. There's a high hopper. They'd better hurry, and Javier can do that. The flip, can they get him? No, sir. Reggie Smith beat it. There was a high hopper right back over Bob Gibson's head. Javier, the second baseman, rushed in there. He had to hurry because Smith can fly, but he did not get it on the first grab. And if you miss one time with a fellow like Reggie Smith or Lou Brock, one of these fast runners, you can just stick that ball in your hip pocket.
Pee-wee, one of the few fellows with the Red Sox who's had World Series experience is coming out as a pinch hitter now. Norm Seaburn. He was born in St. Louis. Now makes his home outside Kansas City in Independence. A left-handed batter hitting for Russ Gibson, with the Red Sox having the tying run at first and 2 away in the bottom of the 7th.
So Dick Williams going to his bench. It's getting late in the ball game, and with the score 2-1 in favor of the Cardinals, he's trying to get back in this game. Let's see what Seaburn did on the year. He batted .205. No home runs, 7 runs batted in. Big left-handed hitter. Fastball in there for call strike 1. Reggie Smith on at first base with 2 away. I doubt seriously if Dick Williams would send Reggie Smith, putting a pinch hitter up there, but you don't know. There he goes. Look out. They may get him, and I think they do. Reggie Smith is thrown out on a good throw by Tim McCarver. So that's all for the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. The score after 7 full innings, the St. Louis Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox 1.
Move up to Chrysler. The 68s are here. Move up to Chrysler and make your move this year.
The 68 Chryslers are here with more power from a higher output 383 cubic inch V8 all the way up to a big 440. More luxury with new options like an 8-track stereo tape system. Make your move here now to Chrysler 68.
You like its brand new styling, big performance, aggressive luxury. So make your move, sir. Move up to Chrysler. And move up to the movers today.
See your local Chrysler dealer. Make your move up to Chrysler now. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Pure Jamaica ginger is the only kind of ginger that goes into Saratoga ginger ale. Why? To make a ginger ale that's different. One you can drink by itself, as well as a mixer. Take a sip, and it's mellow, gingery, without snapping at you. Even the bubbles are different. High-spirited, but long-lasting, and never overwhelming. The people who make Saratoga Vichy just can't bear to make a ginger ale like everybody else.
This is WGYWG-FM Schenectady.
Harry Carey and Pee-wee Reese. Fenway Park, the Cardinals leading 2-1, going into the top of the 8th inning. We have changes. Norm Seaburn, who was the pinch hitter for Russ Gibson, when Reggie Smith was out trying to steal, which ended the 7th inning, stays in the ball game, so he'll still come to bat. And since he batted for Russ Gibson, his place in the batting order will be 8th, and he'll be playing right field, which means that Ken Harrelson is leaving the ball game. Seaburn is now playing right field, and Harrelson is out. We have a new catcher. He'll be Elston Howard. And I think a little bit of a surprise here, Pee-wee, since he'll be the second man coming up in the 8th. Unless they switch their batting order, we'll have to get that from the press box. We have John Wyatt replacing Jose Santiago.
Yes, it was a little surprise, as you said. Santiago, who has accounted for the only run that the Red Sox have here. He had a home run in the bottom half of the third inning, scheduled up to be the second hitter. He's been taken out of the game. I hope there's nothing seriously wrong with him.
Manager Dick Williams has switched his batting order by making the multiple change. He's able to place Elston Howard ninth in the batting order, so he has Seaburn and Howard coming up. So the pitcher Wyatt actually will be in Harrelson's place in the batting order.
Thank you, Harry. The first hitter to face John Wyatt, Tim McCarver. The pitch is low and inside, ball one. We're in the top half of the eighth inning. The Cardinals lead in this ball game by a score of 2-1, the first game of the World Series. John Wyatt takes a little more time than Santiago did. There's a little lazy looper out in the center field. Reggie Smith comes in and takes it for out number one. So McCarver is 0 for 3 on today. Santiago went 7 innings. Gave up 10 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 5 and walked 3. It's one away, and that brings up Mike Shannon. Mike Shannon has 2 out of 3. And he made a great play at third base. John Wyatt, the sidearm curveball, low and outside, ball one. Elston Howard doing the catching. I know a lot of you fans remember him. The great catcher for the New York Yankees for so many years. There's that sidearm curveball. Shannon fouls it straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Mike Shannon. Be Jim Lombard. We think for the Red Sox tomorrow, and a fellow by the name of Hughes for the Cardinals.
Dick Hughes and Larry Jaster is working in the Cardinal bullpen out there in right field, by the way, Pee-wee.
Larry Jaster, a left-hander, doing a little throwing out in the Cardinal bullpen in case Bob Gibson gets in any trouble. 1 ball and 1 strike pitch. It's too high. The Cardinals, first to score in this ball game. They scored 1 in the third inning. Boston tied it up right back in the third inning on a home run by Jose Santiago. And the Cardinals scored another of them in the 7th inning. Be Jim Lombard. We think for the Red Sox tomorrow, and a fellow by the name of Hughes for the Cardinals.
Dick Hughes and Larry Jaster is working in the Cardinal bullpen out there in right field, by the way, Pee-wee.
Larry Jaster, a left-hander, doing a little throwing out in the Cardinal bullpen in case Bob Gibson gets in any trouble. 1 ball and 1 strike pitch. It's too high. The Cardinals, first to score in this ball game. They scored 1 in the third inning. Boston tied it up right back in the third inning on a home run by Jose Santiago. And the Cardinals scored another of them in the 7th inning. They lead 2-1. 2-2 is a count on Mike Shannon. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. The first 2 games will be played here at Fenway Park. Then it will be an off day Friday. And we'll move to good old St. Louis for 3 games. And more needed, we'll be right back here to Boston. The 2-2 pitch was fouled back. Remains 2-2 on Mike Shannon as he walks over to get a little rosin on his hands. The on-deck circle. Javier. hit 2 for 3 today. And Lou Brock, what a day he's had. 4 for 4. 2 stolen bases. And that ties a series record. Help Bemini. There's a high pop-up. Yastrzemski goes over. Reggie Smith comes over. Yastrzemski takes it for out number 2. Nobody has ever had 5 hits in one game.
Boy, what a wonderful move by the Red Sox manager, Dick Williams, Pee-wee. The way he's changed his batting order now, instead of having his 8th place hitting catcher and his pitcher coming up, he's got Seaborn, Elston Howard, and Jerry Adair as his first 3 hitters in the bottom of the 8th.
I would say he's thinking a little bit. He's done all year. Javier swings on the curveball, no contact, strike 1. Well, I'm sure that's the reason he sent Reggie Smith down to steal second base in the last inning. If he got thrown out, he was going to leave him in there, so he'd still be up this inning. A good shot on curveball by John White, and that was by the way of third base. It even made me flinch a little bit up here. 0-2 on Javier. The third baseman's guarding the line. In about even with the bag. Curveball outside.
Boy, Pee-wee, this Wyatt is wicked on that right-handed hitter. He really wheels from the side.
Yes, he does. He has a good sinker. Cardinals here in the top half of the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. So after 7.5 innings of play, St. Louis Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox 1.
Now we're happy to present the worst person of the week. Our scouts have made their selection of worst person, and your meaning is...
Rather than I'd give it, the awful things I've done.
Okay. Now, you are a family man. Did your wife know how awful you were when you got married?
Well, she got an inkling of it when I refused to say I do at 3 different wedding ceremonies.
Oh, that's terrible. What are some of the latest dreadful things you've been doing?
Going to a department store wearing a carnation looking like a floor walker. People ask me directions. I send them to the wrong floor.
Despicable.
I like to drive on the turnpike in weekend traffic and purposely run out of gas in the middle lane. Then I get out of the car and just shrug a lot.
Oh, I've seen you.
The worst thing I do is to my own family. I hide the can of Right Guard just when they're all getting ready for a big night out.
They all share the Right Guard?
Well, that's the beauty part of it. It's a spray, see? And they all use it. So I don't leave just 1 or 2 defenseless. I leave them all 6 defenseless.
You certainly are the worst person of the week.
Thank you. And another horrible thing I do is leave myself defenseless.
I've noticed.
Carey and Pee-wee Reese from Fenway Park. You know, Pee-wee, that was the first time the Cardinals have been retired in order in this whole ball game in that 8th inning.
And it took a new pitcher to do it. John White, Bob Gibson, first pitch to Seaborn is a base hit out into center field. Kurt Flood up with the ball. Seaborn making the turn at first. I imagine we'll have a pinch runner for Norm Seaborn. Yes, sir. Here he comes out of the dugout, and it's Jose Cardinals running for Norm Seaborn. As Norm Seaborn hits the first pitch, a line drive in straightaway center field. And you can hear these partisan fans here at Fenway Park. They're coming to life. And that brings up Elston Howard. Will Dick Williams bunt to try to tie this ball game up? All but he let Elston Howard hit away. Now let's see. Bob Gibson looks over Tartabull. He bunts the ball foul down the first baseline.
Ron Willis, a right-hander, and Joe Harner, a left-hander, are working now in the Cardinal bullpen.
1 strike on Elston Howard. The score, 2-1. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's the Cardinals over the Red Sox here at Fenway Park. And the fans have come to life. Did he foul it? He bunted the ball. The umpire said it was fair. It was bunted rather high, and McCarver started to go to second base with the ball, but Tartabull, who has good speed, McCarver decided not to, so he he had to go to first base. So Elston Howard gets a sacrifice, and that brings up Jerry Adair. Adair is 0 for 3, struck out twice and grounded out to the third baseman his last time up. He'll be followed by Dalton Jones. Bob Gibson has 10 strikeouts. He looks to me like he has not lost any of his stuff. He looks back at the runner. There's a pitch. Kind of jammed it there, whether he fouled it off the right. Strike one. Adair, the last game here Sunday against the Minnesota Twins on a double play, tagging the runner between first and second, got spiked, had 7 stitches taken his leg. Asked him about it today. He said a little sore, but he wouldn't stay out of this game for anything. Orlando Cepeda wants some sunglasses. As Joe Schultz, one of the coaches for the Cardinals, brings them out. Cepeda standing out by the dugout. He's checked about 3 of them. Now the fans are getting on him a little bit. 1 strike on Jerry Adair. The tying run down at second base, and Jose Tardebol. He was a pinch runner for Norm Sabert, who started this inning off with a base hit. Gibson taking a little more time. There's a ball hit out to center field. Should be no trouble for Kirk Flood. He has to come in. Tardebol is not tagging up. Back to the bag goes Tardebol. The throw goes to the shortstop, Maxwell, and it's 2 away. Dalton Jones. He's 1 for 3. Got a base hit his last time up. And Jones, I know that both of these clubs have scouted each other and scouted each other thoroughly. They know that Dalton Jones is a pretty good hitter.
Yes, and Pee Wee, this might be a very, very key moment in this ball game, because if the Cardinals can retire Dalton Jones, it means that they will still hold their 2-1 lead, and moreover, it means that the next time they face Yastrzemski in the 9th inning, he'll be the leadoff man. He'll be coming to bat with nobody on base, rather than if Jones gets on, why Yastrzemski will be coming up in a spot to break it up.
How true. If you can keep those big hitters leading off, you're in a lot better shape. It's a little lazy pop-up, should be no trouble. Maxwell, the shortstop, backs up and takes it for out number 3. That's all for Dalton Jones, and that's all for the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. The score after 8 full innings, the Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox still 1.
I've done it again. Done what again? Come out without cigarettes. Well, here, try one of mine. Oh, that's okay. Here, try one of mine. Have a Salem. Salem is the menthol cigarette that means your taste for you. Salem is the menthol cigarette all of America is turning to. And you are the menthol cigarette, don't take anything but the best. Salem is the menthol cigarette, the one brand and ourselves all the best. I want a mine. Here's a Salem, all the taste that's springtime fresh. Harry Carey at Fenway Park. We're going into the top of the 9th inning. The Cardinals leading 2-1. But Lou Brock will be coming up in the 9th inning, and he has a chance to become the first player in World Series history to get 5 hits in 1 game. But now Maxwell waiting at the plate, and here to tell you all about it is Pee Wee Reese.
Okay, Harry. If Santiago loses this game, he stands to be the loser right now unless the Red Sox do something about it. The first pitch to Max was in there for call strike 1. It'll be his first loss since July the 5th when he lost at Anaheim in relief. Also his first loss at Fenway Park since April the 23rd. There's a curveball that's outside by John White. 1 ball and 1 strike. He was beaten 7-5 by the Yankees in relief. He was 8-1 at home during the season. That's Jose Santiago. John White on the mound now for the Red Sox. There's a curveball. Just got the outside corner. for 2 for Dow Maxwell. Curveball, too high. Makes the count 2-2. Wyatt did a real good job on Javier the last time up there. He sidearm curved him twice. Got him looking for that curveball, and he popped a fastball right down the middle. He's kind of tough to stay in there against the right-hander. There's a foul ball straight back, and the count remains 2-2. Bob Gibson, the big pitcher's the next hitter. When the Cardinals lost Bob Gibson this year, it looks like they had lost the pennant. But a couple of young pitchers, by the name of Hughes and Briles, did a terrific job for the Cardinals. There's another foul off the right. And the count remains 2-2. Dow Maxwell, the first hitter for the Red Sox, for the Cardinals here in the top half of the ninth inning, with the score, Cardinals 2 and the Red Sox 1. They tell me this Briles has a real fine curveball.
Yes, he has, and a good live fastball, fine control, and he's very competitive, Pee-wee.
The 2-2 pitch. Did he? No, sir. He held up. Makes a full count, 3-2. The pitcher that's supposed to pitch tomorrow, Dick Hughes, what does he throw?
Fastball and slider. Pretty good curve. Good control. And he's not afraid, Pee-wee.
That helps. 3-2 pitch. Outside. John White walks the 8th place hitter, Dow Maxwell. That brings up Bob Gibson. He's checking with his coach at third base, Joe Schultz.
You know, this might militate against Lou Brock's chance at a record-breaking 5 hits, because if Gibson succeeds in advancing Maxwell, it would leave first base open, and the Red Sox perhaps would have a chance to pitch around Brock. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yes, sir. Lou Brock has 4 for 4. Let's see what Gibson does if he does sacrifice Dow Maxwell. Harry has a good point, but when you got a fellow batting in back of you but hitting 335, and Kurt Flood, Gibson squares around the bunt. He does make a bunt down to first baseline. Elston Howard lets it roll foul. It was a good bunt. Would have gotten the job done. But Elston Howard let the ball roll foul. Gibson now coming back to the plate. And back to first base, Dow Maxwell.
And Pee-wee, I don't think it's necessary to remind anybody the importance of this extra run in a 2-1 ball game playing on the road.
Yes, sir. The Red Sox. There's a bunt. Look out. George Scott comes up with it. Kind of a semi-line drive, and Scott charging in. Retired Bob Gibson. He started to flip the ball back to Jerry Adair, who was coming first base, but Maxwell, who was wide awake, was back in there in plenty of time. What Harry was talking about, the score 2-1, and the Red Sox get someone on in the 9th inning, and they can bunt. But now then they have to get 2 men on. Makes a big difference. Gives that pitcher a little relief, too. Well, let's see now. Lou Brock looking for a series record. He has 4 straight hits. No other player has ever had 5. 4 for 4. Dow Maxwell on at first. Fastball outside. It's 1 away. Runs on 10 hits for the Cardinals. 1 run on 6 hits for the Red Sox. They play Lou Brock straight away. And deep. And a good ripple. But no contact. 1 ball and 1 strike on Lou Brock. Dow Maxwell on at first base. George Scott, the big first baseman, holding close. This Cardinal Ball Club likes to run. And do. They've had quite a few opportunities today, but have not cashed in on too many of them. Curveball inside. Elston Howard makes a fine stop of that ball. Saves a wild pitch for John Wyatt. We have a new right fielder, Jose Tartabo, as he went in to run for Norm Siebert the last inning. He has gone in right field. Brock takes the pitch. It's outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Right now with Kurt Flood in the on-deck circle, he is checking with his third base coach, Joe Schultz, to see if he wants him to do anything when he gets up there, which a lot of times a coach at third base will do. He will give the sign to you while you're in the on-deck circle. We're in the top half the 9th inning. The Red Sox have only one more chance as they trail in this game by a score of 2-1. Ball 4, so Lou Brock does not get a chance to get his fifth hit in this ball game here in the top half the 9th inning. And that brings up Kurt Flood with 1 away.
You know, Pee-wee, the Cardinals have had 15 base runners, 10 on hits and 5 on walks today. Only scored 2 runs, and they lead 2-1.
Runners on first and second. Kurt Flood is the hitter. It's 1 away. John Wyatt takes plenty of time. And Kurt Flood has a real good cut at it and fouls it back on the screen. Let's see what Kurt Flood has done today. He struck out, a base hit, lined out to left field, and grounded out to the shortstop his last time up. He's 1 for 4. Batted a cool .335 on the season. There's a ball hit out into right field. Tartabo should come up with it. He does. Nice catch. Back to second base is Dow Maxwell. Back to first, Lou Brock. You better believe that ball was hit pretty hard. But Tartabo was right there. The big pitcher for the Cardinals, Bob Gibson, prior to the 9th inning, he has pitched 35 series innings and struck out 41. That's pretty good. Roger Maris. Roger Maris has driven in both runs for the Cardinals on ground outs. There's a ball that's hit hard, but it's going foul down the first base line. 1 strike on him.
You know, the way Flood was robbed on that great catch by Yastrzemski in the 5th, and he hit this ball real well, too, in right center, the Tartabo grab. And, you know, it was his ground out to enable Brock to advance to third base in the 7th inning when he hit behind the runners. You pointed out, Pee-wee, that a team man will do that. His ability to do that actually is the difference in this ball game, because then Maris bounced out, and the Cardinals scored a run, which, by virtue of which they lead now 2-1.
That's very important to get that runner from second to third. And John Wyatt committed a balk. He made a move. And he didn't come on through with it. And so Maxwell goes over to third. Lou Brock down to second. 1 strike on Roger Maris. Talking about Flood hitting that ground ball to the first baseman to get the run over to third. There's a ball hit out into left field. Yastrzemski. He's shading his eyes with his glove. He takes it for the third out. And that's all for Maris, and that's all for the Cardinals in the top half of the 9th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. The score after 8.5 innings of play, it's still the Cardinals 2 and the Boston Red Sox 1. 1 When you want to get home safe in this game, you sometimes have to come in on a slide, and that's baseball. But when you're driving around on an icy road this winter, well, that's no time to play around. Sure-footed traction is what you need for safety. No sliding or skidding will do. And that's why we suggest B.F. Goodrich Trailmaker Silvertown Snow Tire. Trailmakers give you a solid footing, even on the slipperiest road. The wide, modern tread takes hold, gives you the traction you need in the takeoff. And the deep biting edges take you around the turns without trouble. BFG Trailmakers are built with tough nylon cards to give you more safe driving miles. Sure, it's possible to pay less for a snow tire, but BFG's four-ply nylon construction means many winters of safe driving. Get BFG Trailmaker Silvertown Snow Tires for no money down and free installation at your nearby BF Goodrich store or dealer. They're a good way to get a good start this winter.
Bottom of the ninth, the Cardinals are leading 2-1, and Pee Wee here's the big man, Carl Yastrzemski, who's delivered all year long in these kind of situations. Can he do it again?
Well, they've set the stage for him. And as you said, he has done it so many times this year. Of course, he hasn't done it against Bob Gibson. A curveball in there for call strike one. He hasn't done too much today. Has not hit the ball hard. He's 0 for 3. That won't do it. Balls it out to left field. Lou Brock over in front of Kurt Flood and takes it for out number 1. He had it started in the right direction, but it was not hit hard enough. So it's 1 up and 1 down, and the pinch hitter is Foy. Joe Foy. Batting for John White. This fellow has good power. He hit 17 home runs on the year. Batting .251. We're in the bottom half of the ninth inning. And the score is 2-1. Inside. Ball 2. Gibson on the mound for the Cardinals all the way. He has given up 6 hits and 1 run. Boys chops down on that high fastball, fouls it back. Red Shandies walking up and down that dugout over there, keeping a close eye on Bob Gibson. One thing you don't have to worry about too much is this big fella getting tired. There's a foul off the right. McCarver going back. Tim, you have no chance. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Joe Foy pinch hitting for John White. The next hitter will be old George Tater Scott. He got himself a couple of hits today, a single and a double. He's 2 for 3. The last chance for the Red Sox. Ball hit back through the middle, but Maxwell, the shortstop, over to cut it off. Over to Zepeda, and it's 2 down. 1 more chance, because we're in the 9th inning here at Fenway Park. Harry Carey and I'm Pee Wee Reese. And we certainly enjoyed bringing you this first game of the World Series.
There's 2 out, nobody on base. A guy up there that could tie this game. He's got that kind of power, George Scott. And the Cardinal catcher, Tim McCarver's taking no chances. He's going out to talk to Bob Gibson. They want to make sure that they're in accord as to what they want to do to the one man that stands between the first game victory in this World Series and perhaps a defeat.
So right, Harry. Don't make a mistake now. McCarver probably told him. Keep the ball down or keep it up. How are they going to pitch him? There's a fastball. It's a little high and inside. Because you remember, the only run that the Boston Red Sox got back in the 3rd inning with a 2-strike, no ball count on Santiago. Bob Gibson made a bad pitch to him. He hit it in the screen for a home run. The count now on George Scott. 2 balls and no strikes. It's 2 away. We're in the last half of the ninth inning, the last chance for the Red Sox. It's too low. Ball 3. The next hitter, Rico Petrocelli. Petrocelli, I would say he's due. He struck out the 2nd, the 4th, and the 7th. In there for call strike 1 as George Scott was taking all the way. But I don't believe he'll be taking this time if this fastball's in there to his liking. Bottom half the ninth inning. Good swing, no contact for George Scott. Curveball. I think he was looking for that fastball.
Yes, and Pee Wee, that might have been the best breaking ball he's thrown all day. He really snapped it off.
2-1 in favor of the Cardinals. Bottom half the ninth inning. The last chance right here for the Red Sox. Did he? No, sir. He didn't go around. So George Scott gets a base on ball.
And Pee Wee, that's the first pass that Gibson has made. That's the first walk he has issued. It's only the 6th man to reach base for the Red Sox, but they're in a spot where they could win the ball game with a long one. Red Shandies has gone out to talk to Bob Gibson. Orlando Cepeda comes out. The entire infield is converged. And I believe they have a rule in World Series limiting the number of men who can talk to the pitchers. So shortstop Dal Maxwell, manager Red Shandies, and Tim McCarter, along with Bob Gibson, are talking things over. We're going to have a pinch hitter here for the Red Sox.
Yep, we certainly are, Harry, and I'll say one thing for Williams. Petrocelli, who can hit the long ball, he struck out 3 times today. Dick Williams knows it, so he's putting in Mike Andrews. Let's see what we have on Mike Andrews. He batting .263 for the year, 8 home runs, 40 runs batted in. So Mike Andrews is the last hope now for the Boston Red Sox. Here's a fine young ball player. He's a second baseman. He should be around a long time. Chokes up on the bat. Bob Gibson, first pitch is low and inside. Remember, fans, it's 2-1. We're in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Cardinals on top. It's 2 away. It's popped up. It should be all over with. Roger Maris, the right fielder, going over underneath it and takes it for out number 3. So that's all for Mike Andrews, and that's all for the Boston Red Sox here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. And the final score here at Fenway Park, the St. Louis Cardinals, 2 runs, 10 hits, no errors. Boston Red Sox, 1 run on 6 hits and no errors.